That's a 30-foot wave, dude.
Hey, Wyatt. Hang on, Wyatt.
Hang on! Hang on!
Hang on, guys, hang on.
The much anticipated season of Deadliest Catch is around the corner, and everyone is excited to find out more. Deadliest Catch revolves around the lives of crab fishermen and how they survive the brutal conditions of floating on the water. People have loved watching this show so much over the years that the creators came with 18 seasons of the show. And now, the latest season is also making a lot of waves on the internet as it's getting a bunch of new members on board. This new cast has a pretty interesting history that landed them the job of working in one of the most famous reality shows. So let's get into it and find out more about who are the new cast members of Deadliest Catch.
It was not my knock, Keith. I'm happy to be in the bait. Thank you.
No, you're not in the bait anymore. You're in your room. Go. You're done.
Jacob is one of the most important additions in the new season, as the cast member is the very first person of colour to be a captain for crab fishing in the Bering Sea. He'll be making history with his presence in the show, and people are really excited to see him behind the wheel. Hutchins has said that he's faced a lot of racism in his career, but he's finally in a position of authority and he's proud to call himself self-made. He doesn't come from money, and he didn't have his father to guide him in his career. In fact, he didn't have a boat at the start of his career. But he worked his way up and is a pretty big name in the crabbing industry now. Hutchins is only 33 years old, but he's already so famous that he even got featured in both 14th and 15th seasons of Deadliest Catch as a guest appearance. But now he's finally becoming a part of the show, and he's really excited to work with industry giants like Captain Keith Colburn.
I love my life. I want it to be the same for the next generation and generations to come.
Linda is better known as an author of some of the most successful books around maritime themes. She's been working in the sea for years now, and even was the very first female on a sword fishing boat in the US. She's kind of a big deal when it comes to fishing, and she was even featured in Perfect Storm, which is an iconic movie. Linda had a pretty formal background with her father being a manager. She majors in government and English, which is far from fishing, so when she took up fishing as a side hustle, everyone was shocked. But when she used to be on the boat, Linda truly felt like herself, and soon she joined the boat full-time and became a captain. She got herself her very own lobster boat in the 90s and has never looked back since. She's had such a huge impact on fishing that Deadliest Catch producers thought that it would be a huge waste if they didn't get Linda on board for the 19th season. So she's starring in it, and her presence alone has raised a whole lot of expectations. Sophia is a young but very ambitious girl who wants to keep the crab fishing legacy of her parents alive. She lost both of her parents in an accident, and she finds solace in sailing around the boat of her parents. Sophia revealed that it was her dream to be on a boat with her father, but it never happened, and now she's trying to pay homage to him by being on the boat. She's now dedicated her life to fishing and is training to be a captain someday. Sophia has a very strong fishing background, and she belongs to the third generation of fisher women. The show creators noticed Sophia's interest in fishing from her Instagram posts, and her parents were already well-known names in the fishing industry. So the producers thought that having young blood on the show is going to be great for the ratings, and Sophia has a lot of followers on her Instagram who love watching her on the show. It's probably the first mainstream TV appearance of Sophia, and she seems pretty excited to get this opportunity. Jack Bonnell is going to be the next big thing in the crabbing industry. He's got his eyes on the stars as he continues to climb up the stairs of success. He was featured in the 15th season of the show, but he got severely injured due to a crabbing pot. He soon recovered and got back on the field. He believes that waiting around for the crabs is the most boring part of the job. Although Jack is a first-time captain, he's not new to the world of crabbing, as his whole family has been in the business for decades. In fact, he's a third-generation fisherman. His strong background in the field is the reason why everyone took him seriously at the beginning of his career, and that's why he got his fishing gig so quickly. His fans are now excited to see him go big on the show and reach his true potential.
Being away from loved ones. Not being there when stuff happens. It's the worst part about this job.
Rick has another one of the big names in the fishing field. He's been fishing around the world for years now and is one of the bigger fishers in the pond. Although fishing in the Bering Sea is going to be a whole new challenge on its own, it seems like Rick is more experienced enough to take up this challenge. Rick has worked on the show in the starting days and moved on to other projects, but he's back with a bang after more than a decade. He loved fishing so much during his teenage years that he ended up buying a very expensive boat that kick-started his journey. He's since been travelling to some of the most difficult places and has managed to polish his skills over the years. His presence on Deadliest Catch as a captain is only going to make the show a lot more interesting, as Rick already has a fan following and is a big deal in the crab fishing world. Now, apart from these exciting new additions, there are some OG members of the show that are coming back, and it won't be fair if we skip them. So let's get in and find out who's returning for season 19 of Deadliest Catch. For starters, Sig Hansen is obviously coming back, as without him, the show is going to be very bland. His crabbing skills are unmatched, and the new cast is going to learn a lot from him. He has the title of selling the most expensive crab on the show, and after a couple of seasons, he became the full-time captain. He did leave the show in the 7th season, but then came back and has been the centre of attention ever since. His father-daughter bonding with his daughter is what fans love the most, and it also adds a lot of drama to the show, and sometimes Sig doesn't get along very well with his daughter. Sig has had some pretty serious health scares, and he even said back in 2019 that he's planning on letting it go and retiring. So everyone thought that he wouldn't be coming back for the 19th season, but he shocked everyone after the news of him being in the 19th season went public.
Well, I was looking over here.
I get it. That's why it drives me. I
I
understand. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm trying to not let this ever happen again. It's all I care about.
Mandy Hansen is yet another recurring fisher on the show, and she's always dreamt about working on a boat. She's married and has a whole other career, but she loves fishing, and her presence on the show just makes everything better. She has a sweet little daughter who also wants to be a sailor, so this family is surely going to create their very own fishing legacy. She was only 13 when she made a guest appearance on the show, and soon she was part of the cast full time. She's now being called a crab queen in making because of her skills and great eye for fishing at such a young age.
Oh, I'm just watering. Never mind. I don't know what's going on.
Andy Hillstrom is another one of the main cast of the show who'll be coming back for a new season. He's been off the grid for quite a while now, and the fans were curious to see what he's been up to. He actually left the show earlier because he had quite a controversial fallout with the producers of the show. He even talked about the not so great conditions of the Deadliest Catch set. There have been so many misunderstandings between Andy and the producers that no one thought he'll be coming back for another season. After Deadliest Catch, Andy started his own construction company, but he had to take a break from that too when his back started acting up and he had to go through a surgery. But reports are now emerging that he's going to be back for a 19th season, and it's actually a pretty big deal as his fans have been wanting to see him back on screen.